Hey everyone, hope you're doing well this week. We're almost through quarantine and back to meeting together in person. We're doing something a little bit different tonight or today, whenever you're watching this. Rather than me just sit here and talk to you, I brought in some of our former Veracity students, some guys and girls that were in your shoes at one time, and asked them to share a little bit about their Veracity experience and also give you some encouragement and advice for your school years and for after your school years. So hopefully this encourages you and challenges you a little bit and gets you excited to be a part of Veracity. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Just going to ask you guys some questions and you can share with the group. So, first question here. The students probably know some of you guys, but just to make sure everybody knows everybody, we'll go around and you can introduce yourself and also tell us how many years you were in Veracity, what year did you graduate from high school, and a little bit about where you are now in life.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Allie. I was in Veracity for about 6 years, as long as I did my math right. I graduated from high school in 2017, and for the past 3 years, I've been at Grace College, and I actually just graduated. And I'm excited to see what God has for me, but Veracity has been a huge part of my life.
I'm Christian. I've been with Veracity pretty much since I could. Kind of been there since the start, and I graduated in 2016 and currently living in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
My name's Ty. Like Christian said, I started Veracity whenever we came up with a name. I think myself, Christian, and Allie were all meeting at the makeshift youth group before it was official and before Ben came along. So, good many years ago. I graduated in 2015, and I'm currently waiting to start a new job in Hagerstown Fire Department.
Yeah, I think all three of you guys were charter original members of Veracity when I came on board at Liberty and when we got this Veracity thing going. So it's cool to talk to you guys and see where you guys are in life. So an easy question to get us started here. What is your favorite fun or funny moment from your time in Veracity?
Okay, I couldn't pick just one, but I think that all of them were pretty much associated behind this um, with the drives to and from Momentum. We always had a good time on those trips. So I think that specifically the car rides to and from were have some of my favorite memories.
For me, it's not being in quarantine, and but I always enjoyed. I mean, we always had lots of fun. It'd be hard to kind of pick like one thing, but I always enjoyed the Urban Hope trips. I mean, that was just such a cool environment. I mean, yeah, Momentum's fun and everything, but I don't know, just going to Urban Hope, just kind of being like a different setting in general, and just the whole like ambiance and everything. The smaller group, I really enjoyed that. So that's probably number one for me. But there's so much to pick from, and like just so many memories. Just when Ben asked the questions, I'm like thinking of like, oh man, I remember when we did that. Or I'm like looking through like the old pictures on the Facebook group. I'm like, oh man, I'm like cringing looking at myself. I'm like, oh, I don't want to look at that anymore. But we definitely had some fun times.
So, we both took mine, but I'll kind of combine them both. I was going to say the car rides, specifically to Urban Hope, are always interesting. If you have Christian shooting his toy gun on his phone out the window at the city livers in Philadelphia, or Mariah, or as we know her, Abigail, eating bird poop in the backseat of the van. But there's always something going on. We had a lot of fun. We had a really close friend group, and we were always doing something stupid, pretty much.
Mhm. Yeah, eating Mariah's birdseed treats on the way home from Urban Hope. That when we were stuck in that traffic jam, that was funny, but kind of miserable too. And also, the other thing I think about with you guys is when I bashed my head open and we were riding to the hospital. And first of all, you guys told me, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad." And then we get to the hospital and the doctor's like, "Oh, it is bad." And also when we're in the car going to the hospital and Christians ask me, "Are you attracted to women?" Like, why are you asking me this? Anyway, yeah, we had a lot of good
I just
times.
wanted to make sure you. I wanted to make sure it wasn't permanent damage, Ben. You gotta. As being a first responder like myself, Ty should also know this. It's important to make sure that all the characteristics that were once there are still there.
There you go. You wanted to make sure I wasn't completely concussed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a lot of good times. A lot of good times in vehicles
Oh,
too.
there it is.
There it is, me at the hospital. So from the funny to a little more serious here, what was the most meaningful moment of your time in Veracity?
I think that probably the most meaningful thing was a couple times when we were at Urban Hope. We were encouraged to, or like we were required to go door to door and talk to people. Um, and I was one of the only people that would actually talk, and so I was often the one that had to start the conversations, even though I wasn't super comfortable with it. Uh, but now looking back, like I'm super thankful for that because now it's a lot easier for me to talk about my faith in like normal everyday conversations. So I think that that was super beneficial, and definitely something that I see that impacted me a lot. Just being pushed out of my comfort zone and being able to talk about my faith in that normal everyday conversation.
For me, I said friendship. I mean, like, I'm still friends with Ty and Ben, and we've been friends since like we first met each other, honestly. And here we are years later, and we still talk almost daily. And we still see each other whenever we can. Whenever I come back in town, I always try and make an effort to swing by and see those guys for a couple minutes. But definitely friendship. I mean, yeah, you have your friends in school and everything, but I don't know. It's always just just a little bit different with the youth group.
So I have a couple meaningful moments. Like Ali said, going to Urban Hope, that really made me step outside of my comfort zone with my faith, going door to door, handing out smoke detectors and whatever else we had to give out, and then just talking about Christ Himself. Um, it was hard at first, but it was a very meaningful experience for me. And then also just a time of small youth group time, whatever it was called at that point. Some of those conversations that were had amongst the guys and the whole youth group, they really showed what was happening amongst all of us in our growing in faith. And to me, that was some of the most meaningful moments of Veracity to me.
Yeah, it's cool to hear those old memories and those meaningful times that you guys had. How just kind of overall, how was being involved in Veracity beneficial to your life back when you were in school, and how's it continued to be beneficial in your life now?
Yeah, so Veracity brought me a community that I hadn't experienced before. And it was a Christian community that they shared the same beliefs as me. And definitely in high school, I wasn't surrounded with that whenever I was in school. So to be able to come to those people and be able to be pushed in my faith by them, definitely set that importance. And so now, whenever I think of something that I truly need and desire to have, is a strong Christian community, and I think that's because of what I had in Veracity.
To kind of touch on what Ali said, and with my last question, was kind of just almost a place to get away and see your friends. Like you have your high school friends, and I mean, you're friends with them on a close level, but you're not like friends with them on a deep, like spiritual level. I mean, like for me as a guy and with a lot of my friends, it'd be kind of like weird to talk about like God and Jesus and everything like that. They'll be like, "Why are you talking about that? Like, let's talk about sports or girls or something." But I thought that was something that stuck out the most with me is just having a friendship on like a different level. Like you can go to bed and just talk to him and be real with him. Because at the end of the day, yeah, he might be your youth pastor and you look up to him, but you're still like friends with each other, and you can still be honest and real with each other.
So I think for me, um, Veracity did a lot for me. Like Ali said, I'm sure most of you guys are from Richland, I would assume. Getting better, it seems like, but whenever we went to school, there wasn't much of a Christian base. Me and Ali were there when they started FCA. I don't know if they still do that or not, but just to have that community, like these guys said, it meant something else. Wednesday nights was something I look forward to. I could have fun with the friends that I shared my faith with. I didn't have a lot of friends coming from high school, so to have friends as close as Ben and Christian and like Spencer, if you guys know Spencer Kaufman, it was a relief to me to go, and we can talk about sports and girls, but at the same time, we have faith backing us. So Veracity was a huge benefit in my life. Even today, I still have daily memories of the stupid stuff we did in Veracity.
Yeah, a term we always used to throw around when you guys were in Veracity, and we still use it now, is Veracity family, to try and build that community and be a family together, because that's one of the awesome things that youth group can be, is your faith family. So what you guys were all Veracity student leaders as well as Veracity students. So what was the value of being a Veracity student leader?
I always knew that like God had gifted me with leadership capabilities, but I didn't always use them in the right way. And so when Ben reached out and wanted me to be a student leader, I got really excited to be able to use them in a position that was really impactful and for a good reason. So I think that being a student leader helped me to recognize that I can use my abilities for the right purpose, and also it helped me strengthen those, and helped me realize that being a leader didn't always mean what I thought it meant originally. It was mainly like being an example for those younger than you. And it honestly has helped me in so many areas of my life to this day.
I think for me, courage, because like when we break up into our little groups and you have to go walk around in Philadelphia or walk around wherever and go talk to people, and you're the only like student leader in the group, and you're like, well, I guess I have to like step up now and like go and talk to this random person because I'm the leader, you know. And I mean, it's a little scary at first, but I live to tell about it, so it could have been worse, I guess. But definitely courage. I mean, just to get you out of your comfort zone and to just kind of step up. I mean, you can only grow from it, you know, get you out of your shell.
I'm going to kind of mimic what these two said. I always was kind of in charge of things around my life, but I never used them correctly, kind of like Ali. Literally just like Christian said, that when you were at Urban Hope or Momentum doing outreach, you were with a group from another church or whoever, those people generally knew that we were the leaders, so they looked up to us, so we were able to spread that. Now, in my personal life, I'm currently a captain at the fire department, and I learned a lot of my leadership ability through Veracity, having the responsibility from the Veracity family, as Ben said, put on me as the leader, and it taught me a lot. So it was very beneficial as well.
Yeah, so one of the things we try and accomplish at Veracity, as well as building that family, is to build leaders as well. And hopefully, like these guys said, give you that leadership ability and that confidence that you can take with you beyond Veracity, into your family, into your career, into your church involvement later in life. And so it's awesome to hear how you guys were impacted in that. And it was awesome to be a part of seeing you guys grow in your leadership during your time at Veracity. Couple more questions here. What advice would you give to current Veracity students about their time in Veracity?
Well, kind of to go off of an earlier answer, really value that community and try to make those people your solid friends, because they all have the same, for the most part, will have the same beliefs and values as you. So really keep those people close and try to build those relationships, even if it's like outside of a Wednesday night, because those are people that'll be around for the long run, and they truly will pour into you. Also, just watch out for the younger kids. Because even if you're on the older end, it's super important to have those kids have somebody to look up to and have somebody that they know cares about them, because that's something that can get left a lot, is whenever the younger kids are overlooked. That's a bummer.
For me, I think I just stick with it. Like, I know when I got later on in high school and like just got older in general, stopped going as much. Like, I used to go like weekly, I wouldn't miss it. And then, once I got like in my junior and senior year in high school, I just kind of like, I would still go every now and then, but I didn't go like religiously anymore. I just kind of just fell away. And now looking back on that, I mean, it's something I regret because I almost like let my just like maybe greed or just whatever, jealousy, maybe just get a hold of me. I was like, oh, I don't want to go there. Like, I'll just stay home and just like feel sorry for myself or whatever. But I think just stick with it because, like it's almost been the theme is like a community or a friendship. It's, they're still going to be there for you when you come back. And I mean, yeah, things might like suck with whatever's going on, but don't just completely abandon them because you think maybe they have it better than the way you have it right now. So just stick with it.
So my biggest advice, I actually have two things. So first is hold yourselves responsible. Hold yourself responsible for your faith. Like as Christian said, the past couple of years, I'll admit it, I fell away. Um, had a few bad things happen in my life, and just recently with a new relationship, she's really pushed me back into my Christ-like life. And I look back, I regret falling. Life's so much easier with Christ. So make sure you hold yourself responsible. One thing I was always told or always known was that you want people to look at you different. You want people to know that there's something different about you, whether you're at work or you're with your friends. And if everybody's picking on somebody or whatever, they just make sure they know that you're going to be different, that they'll look at you and be like, he or she's going to react this way because they know Christ. And then probably the more important one is if you're able to, throw an all-nighter. Don't let Ben lie to you. They're the best thing ever. So make that happen.
Great advice, guys, except for the all-nighter part. We did do an all-nighter last year, so we brought it back, and we were going to do one this spring, and COVID kind of messed that up on us. But back when we did all-nighters in Club Veracity, when you guys were in there and set up a club and then didn't dance at the club, so just stood awkwardly. It was fun.
There was headbanging involved. I have videos of that. So don't say there's no dancing. Just there was headbanging.
Yeah. Thank you. Good advice, guys. Any other last just pieces of advice for life in general that you would tell a middle school or high school student?
This is going to sound cliche, and I know that you probably hear this from your parents, but put your phones down every once in a while, because the relationships you build face to face are just so much more solid than most of the ones that you can build through your phone, because you're truly connecting with people, and those relationships are really important. Of course, take pictures of those fun times so you have those to look back on. Like we've mentioned a couple times, we have some very, very rough pictures. I know that Ty and Christian and I look back on them and we're like, oh boy, but we're thankful for them because we can have those times to look back on. But don't be living in your phone. Try to live in the moment and take everything in, because that is really important.
To touch on that, back at Momentum, we weren't allowed to have phones. We had to give them to Ben. Yep.
Thank you, Christian. I was going to bring that up. He's mean.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben's not as nice as you think, kids. But for me, I think just trust God's timing and will. I mean, yeah, you hear that all the time, but just truly trust it, especially now with like, where a lot of you could be in school and everything, and you're going to start hearing get pounded down your throat like, oh, God, start thinking about college. Like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Like, honestly, I didn't figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life until like a year ago, and I'm pretty all right. I mean, I'm 22 and it's not that terrible. I didn't go to college or anything, and I always kind of know it's like I don't think college is for me. So I just kind of just got a job and just stuck with it for a while, and I prayed and just like trusted God. I was like, well, you're gonna put me somewhere. I mean, you always take care of me, and I got myself in a good situation with my job, and I some days I think like, well, is this really what I do? But really what I want to do. But I also look back at all the blessings I have with where I am now, and I'm like, this is where I was supposed to be. This is where God wants me. So just trust where God puts you, and just trust His timing. It might not be when you want it. It might not be that year. It might be a couple years from now, but it'll come.
So I'll be the normal grandmother, grandfather. Don't wish your life away, for sure. Like Christian said, he's 22. I'm 23, and my life's just starting. So I'm gonna start now. But with that being said, like Ali said, don't forget about in-person conversations, in-person relationships, because those are very important. Right now, the only relationship that I have with Christian, probably one of my best friends, is through phone. I wish I could do it in person. He lives 3 hours away from us because he doesn't like us anymore. But just remember not to dwell over the little things either. Don't beat yourself up because you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you don't have the newest phone, or you didn't get invited to play soccer that day or whatever. Think about the benefits in your life or the good things happening around you, because not everything's negative. And that's something that I wish I would have told myself whenever I was 10th grade, 11th grade. Don't dwell over those little things, because you're just going to drive yourself into the ground, and it's a bad area to be in.
Kind of laughing a little bit hearing you guys share your advice, because it's all stuff I remember us talking about when you guys were in Veracity, and it's cool that you see the value in that now. And I'm definitely with you in my life too. Things that I look back to from my high school days and stuff, and I'm like, man, my leaders or whoever told me that again and again and again, and I thought, I don't know. And then you get a little older and you're like, oh yeah, they did know what they were talking about. So it's cool to hear you guys sharing that stuff. So thank you guys again for being here, for being a part of this. I'll kind of put everybody's picture up on the screen there. So thank you guys, and I'll remind the students as well, if you see these guys around church, Ty's still in the area, Allie's in and out of the area now, Christian's home every once in a while. So if you see these guys at church, feel free to talk to them and ask them questions, and they'd be happy to talk to you more. So thanks again, guys. Any last words of encouragement from anybody?
Listen to your parents.
Don't do drugs.